Hello, friends. Today's story is called Isaac Finds a Wife. Now, remember Abraham and Isaac from last week? Well, we pick up their story about the time that Isaac is ready to find a wife. When Abraham was old, he decided to find a suitable wife for his son Isaac. Abraham sent for his best servant. "I do not want my son to marry any of the local Canaanites," Abraham explained. "I am sending you to where I used to live. You will find a wife for Isaac there." "But," the servant said, what if she doesn't want to come back with me? Will I have to take Isaac to her?" "If she is unwilling," Abraham replied, "your task is finished. God has promised to give this land to my descendants." The servant collected 10 camels and loaded them with provisions. Then he set off for the place where Abraham used to live and where his brother Nahor still lived. When he arrived, he stopped outside the city and made his camels kneel down close to a well. Then the servant prayed, "Lord God, when the women come to the well, I will ask them for a drink. If one says, 'Drink, and I'll water your camels too,' let her be the one you have chosen for Isaac." While he was praying, a woman named Rebekah came to the well. She was carrying a water pot on her shoulder. The servant asked Rebekah for a drink. She quickly lowered the jar and gave him a drink. Then she offered to draw water for the camels as well. The servant watched as Rebekah went back and forth from the well to fill a trough for the camels to drink. When she had finished, he took out 2 gold bracelets for her. "Who are you?" the servant asked. "I am Rebekah, the daughter of Bethuel," she replied. The servant was pleased, since it meant that Rebekah was related to Abraham. He bowed his head and worshipped God. "Praise be to the Lord, the God of my master Abraham," the servant exclaimed. "He has led me to the family of Abraham." Rebekah was living with her brother Laban and his wife. When Laban heard about the servant's arrival, he came running to him. Laban was thrilled to meet Abraham's servant and pleased when he saw the gifts the servant had brought with him. "Come," said Laban, "you are blessed of the Lord. I have room for you and your camels, and will have a meal prepared for us all." The servant explained why he had come, then brought out gold and silver jewelry and gifts of fine clothes for Rebekah. He also gave expensive gifts to Laban and Rebekah's mother. The next day, Rebekah agreed to go with Abraham's servant on the long journey to meet Isaac, her future husband. Isaac was sitting and meditating about God when he saw the camels and his servant appear a few days later. He ran towards them. "Who is that?" asked Rebekah. "That is Isaac," the servant replied. Rebekah quickly covered her face, because that is what women did in those days. Abraham's servant then explained to Isaac all that had happened. Soon after this, Isaac and Rebekah were married. Abraham's prayers had been answered, and the prayers of Abraham's servant to help him find a wife for Isaac were answered too. Isaac really loved Rebekah, and they later had twins, Esau and Jacob. But that's a story for another day. Wow, that was a romantic story, wasn't it? I bet if you asked your parents how they met, they wouldn't have a story like Isaac and Rebekah's. It would be quite different. But this amazing story was about more than just love. Here are some things we can learn from it. First, we serve a loving God who keeps his promises, and Abraham knew this well. Abraham knew that God would keep his promises, so when he sent his servant to find Isaac a wife, he knew that God would work things out. And second, God cares about all the details of our lives, and will use them to accomplish His will and purpose for us. We just need to have the courage to trust Him. The story of Isaac and Rebekah is one of faith, courage, and true love. But most of all, it is a reminder of just how trustworthy our God is. Here is a verse to help you remember this. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. Proverbs 3, verses 5 and 6.